Everyone, welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire. If you're actually new to the channel, I am your host, Rashid. My man on the other side of the panel right there is Barrick. Say what's up to the
guys?
fans, man.
What's going on, guys? What's happening? Let's get to work. Let's get to work.
All right, so as you can see with the text on screen, MLB goes full woke. Moves 2021 All-Star Game out of Atlanta in response to Georgia's voting restrictions. Yo, what is wrong with you guys? Y'all seen a dip in the damn ratings. Now, it's not the MLB has not been that bad compared to the NBA and the NFL in a sense, though. But like the NBA being primary first for a lot of different reasons there. But what are you guys doing over here, man? I mean, listen. So what? Georgia actually puts a voting law into place. And then I looked at it, and it's not that big of a damn deal. All it's requiring you to do is actually produce a damn identification to effing vote. Jesus Christ, man. Come on. Stop mixing the damn politics and the freaking sports. I'm tired of it already, man. I know I'm sick of it, and I know the people that are actually watching this nonsense are tired of it already, man. Barry, take us off, man. That's just my little rant right there, man.
That's your little rant. All right, listen. Well, first of all, I got a problem with them always saying people of color. You know, we already know who we're talking about. We're talking about black people. All right, you're talking about restricting a voting access for black people in the state of Georgia.
It's asking you to produce a driver's license. That's all it's actually saying, to produce some form of identification to vote. That's all it's saying, Barrick. That's it. Yeah, I looked at it. And some hours. That has nothing to do with black people. I don't know where they got that from.
Well, this is what they have, and this is exactly what's going on. This is a new state law that was produced in the state of Georgia. And the bottom line is, you know, the commissioner of Major League Baseball now, Rob Manfred, he just came out and said that we're going to finalize a new city to host not just the All-Star Game, but also to host the Major League Baseball draft. So the bottom line is, you know, you had conversations with former players, current players, in regards to this, and these guys are a part of the Player Alliance, and they all felt like this is the best thing to do and relocate the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Now, we can touch on that, and we can also touch on the concept that this is the state of Georgia. Now, let's not also forget that the All-Star Game in the NBA was supposed to also be in the state of Georgia, and that got moved. And they used COVID-19 as an excuse. Now, Major League Baseball is using an excuse because now the quote-unquote people of color, which I can't stand at this point, black people has a voting access that has been restricted. Right, so this is what they're saying.
If you look at the law that the governor signed in, it has nothing to do with black people. All it's asking for is to produce a form of identification because of the voter fraud that was actually proven to actually happen in Georgia. X amount of ballots, mail-in ballots got mailed out, and then more came back for Biden. So there's definitive fraud there. I don't care how you want to splice it. I don't care.
Well, if it's definitive fraud there, if it's definitive fraud, why are we pointing the finger at the black community? Why?
I don't know I think the media is actually doing that, and CNN and MSNBC is actually doing that nonsense. But it has nothing to do with black people. All it's asking you, and we know because there's people that's actually serving prison stints right now for voter fraud and election fraud. So this stuff actually does go on. There's election fraud experts out there to look at the elections. So don't tell me that this stuff doesn't actually exist, because it does exist. There's people serving time in jail right now over it.
Of course, and not to mention you release people inadvertently who shouldn't have been released. So we got problems everywhere. We got problems everywhere. But this is the unfortunate concept of involving sports and politics when neither one should not be involved. Because the state of Georgia is catching flack, not only had they had to move Major League Baseball, because the NBA All-Star Game also had to be moved.
Now, what about that All-Star Game was actually going to generate a lot of revenue? The hotels, the food vendors, the restaurants, and especially the Atlanta Braves itself in a sense though. So I mean, now all that revenue and these they had to actually close their whole businesses up due to the pandemic, and now they're looking for this little boost in revenue, and now they're not going to get it now, and all the nonsense.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the Braves are not going to feel that much of a heat from this because they have the baseball season just started. They'll find a way to recoup on that. You're talking about the actual city. You're talking about the city of Atlanta. You're talking about Georgia itself. I mean, unfortunately, businesses were going to take a hit on this. You know, employees and fans, they're going to take a hit on this. You know, this is the unfortunate part of it. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we have a big problem. We got a problem with the fact that you're going to use a cover story, if you will, because this is what we're talking about now. We're talking about the simple identification. That's not what's being said. That's not what's being reported. What's being reported is that they're changing the functions of how, quote unquote, people of color are now restricted to vote in the state of Georgia. So why are you saying that if it's all about just identification? Because I don't see the correlation.
We know CNN. I mean, definitely we catch them in a lot of lies in terms of their actual reporting there, and I don't know here, man. Like this is stupid because I looked at the bill that the governor actually signed, and it has nothing to do with race. Nothing, absolutely nothing to do with race at all. So I don't know where they actually get that from.
This is the way it's being exactly, but this is the way it's being reported. Anytime you come out and you make a comment, whether it's CNN, no matter who it is, anytime you come out and make a comment that now people of color, okay, so you got to stop saying that.
But who said that though? That's one.
That's the way it's being reported through Major League Baseball and their representatives. All right, and the Player Alliance has also come out and said, "Listen, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to now support Major League Baseball's decision to move the Major League All-Star game."
All right, so the Atlanta Braves
these words.
The Atlanta Braves actually released a statement saying that they hold on, where is it? On the other side of the issue are the Atlanta Braves, who were to be the host team for the game. They released the following statement in response to MLB's decision to pull the game out of Georgia, saying they're deeply disappointed. So the bill.
Okay, then let me read a story for you. The Player Alliance considered of more than 100 current and former players who have unified in an effort to empower Black communities, came out in support of Major League Baseball's decision with a statement that read in part, "We want to make our voice heard loud and clear in our opposition of the recent Georgia legislation that not only disenfranchises the Black community, but also paves the way for other states and pass similar harmful laws based largely on widespread falsehoods and disinformation." Okay, end quotes. How about that?
All right, so, listen, I hear that. I mean, I'm just looking at the law that the governor actually signed. It has nothing to do with racism or blacks. It's just saying that you need to produce a valid form of identification. And we know the Democrats want to get illegals to actually vote, and that does go on. It's been proven. They have the undercover videos to actually show that actually does happen. And of course, it says over here, the Democrats are actually, of course, you definitely would be pissed off, man. So it says it has been opposed by both Democrats and voting right groups who believe the law will disproportionately disenfranchise voters of colors. How's it going to do that? When all it's asking you to do is to produce a form of identification, which most American Black citizens does have. I mean, what the hell? What is it?
This is what they're saying, and it's I mean, let's go to the front now. They have a new law coming out, SB 202, which is in the wake of the Democratic victories in the presidential and Senate elections in Georgia in a generation, which has triggered an approving insertion of former President Donald Trump
and Biden. All the things that are going on in the country. This is your main focus right here, brother. What the Major League Baseball is actually doing. I mean, we have energy prices, gas prices up in some spots damn near $4 a gallon, and this is what you want to focus on, man?
The governor of Georgia came out and told Major League Baseball that they caved to fear. They caved into fear, by moving the All-Star game. He rather them stay and take on the heat or whatever alleged heat that came along with what was going on with the new voting concept. So, the biggest problem of it right now is not even Major League Baseball, it's the Atlanta Braves. It's Atlanta Braves, their employees, their fans. All right? They were supposed to have some sort of a resurgence in Atlanta, Georgia, especially since the NBA had moved their All-Star game, allegedly to COVID-19 issues. Okay? So if you had no issues with NBA, no issues. I'm sorry, excuse me. You had issues with the NBA because of COVID-19. Now, within a 2-month process or a 3-month process, you're going to have Major League Baseball All-Star game. But there's no problem with that now, right? Now we have a new problem. We're talking about the voting issue with people of color. Now we're going to move that from it. What's going on in Georgia? That's what we got to focus on. What the hell is going on in Georgia? Because it may not be Major League Baseball.
It's Republicans versus the Democrats, and they're taking it out on sports, and ultimately the people that are going to suffer for this will be the small businesses, will be a lot of the fans itself, in a sense, though, and it's a shame.
And the players. And
the players too. Mm-hmm. And we have to keep the politics out of sports. And it's the one thing we've seen, the dip in ratings in the MLB. Now, they weren't as bad with the woke nonsense, but now this is going to really, we're going to be looking at the ratings following this now, because there's a lot of angry people out there. There's going to be a lot of angry businesses out there. And we're going to be looking at the ratings in the next couple of weeks, maybe to a month or 2 months after this, and see what actually comes out of this. Because all you're doing is actually destroying yourselves, man. I don't understand why I can't understand that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Guess who supported their decision? Guess what players supported the Major League Baseball's decision?
Who's that?
LeBron James. So Tony Clark comes out. Hold on, let me say this. Hold on. Before we get to that, let me tell you that Major League Baseball's executive director, Tony Clark, he's an ex-baseball player. He's basically saying that we're supporting it, but he mentioned Joe Biden, who won Georgia with less than 12,000 votes. Get that? He won Georgia with less than 12,000 votes. They're going to strongly support this issue. And then LeBron came out and did the same thing.
And LeBron James, here's a message for you. Go suck a duck. That's what you can do. Go suck a duck.
Interesting. I don't know how you go suck a duck, but go ahead. So the bottom line is, we have a lot of issues with Georgia right now. And whether you use COVID-19 as a cover, or you use the Major League Baseball Midsummer Classic is what we call it, I think it's in poor taste. I think it's in poor taste that we're in a situation where Georgia is basically saying, well, we're against Major League Baseball's decision, yet you have an alleged new concept in voting in Georgia, which allegedly happens to affect the black community. So I don't understand how this works out.
I don't know how it affects the black community. I mean, I think I'm a smart guy. I just don't see how asking you to produce a driver's license and some voting hours is going to actually affect the black people, when most of the black people have valid forms of identifications. I don't know. It's just, I don't.
Atlanta, Georgia specifically. There's a large black community in Atlanta, Georgia. Large. Yeah. So it doesn't come to me funny that they mention that.
They're just saying that. They can't tell you how it affects black people. They can't say how it does it actually affect black people. They're just saying that.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't say that. But this is what they're saying. Remember what I just kept telling you. We had another major sport that had major festivities in that city. They used one platform to get rid of that. Now they're using another platform. You understand that? That's what's going on right now. What is going on in Georgia? Why you don't want the Major League Baseball Midsummer Classic, why you did not want the NBA All-Star Game in? What is going on in Georgia? What are we not talking about? You use COVID-19 to get them out of town. Now you're using this whole voting concept to get them out of town for Major League Baseball. Do we not find us to be funny? Because I do.
They're standing up to the Democratic Party. That's what it is, though, man. I think that's what it is. The governor, just like Governor DeSantis, and he's standing up to the Democrats. It's a Pelosi and who else is there?
You can stand up to these people in a more logical position, in a more bigger platform. We do not have to use major sports to cover this whole thing up. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. All right, it's bad enough that we have this problem going on with COVID-19, and we need sports. We don't really get to a point now where we wanted it. Now we need sports. We need sports to be what it is. We need to be a cure-all away from all the crap that's going on in the world. And if you're using sports as a platform for negativity, it's regardless.
Yeah, you don't want the politics in it. Please stop. Stop trying to brainwash us in a sense, though, with the nonsense. And I'm just sick of it already. We're gonna wrap this up over here. And if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share it. When you share, the universe certainly shares back with you.
Peace. Yeah, definitely shares back. This crack is going on right now. Yeah, share that too. All right, guys. Peace.